G'day guys, you're back with Miracle Max. Today in the workshop we have a Holden Rodeo 2006 model with a 3.5 litre engine in it, and for some reason it keeps stalling. What's wrong with it? Let's check it out together. So the customer stated that they were just driving down the road and it just came to a stall, and they cranked it over and away it went once again. It happened a couple of times. So there's certainly a range of things that we could check out, but instead of just guessing, we need to diagnose. What should we do first? Hook up the scan tool. Now I've just started the thing up, and as you can see it's done 221,000 kilometres there, and it's just, I don't know, it's got a bit of a vibration there that I'm not overly happy with. I don't know the service history on this, I can't find a book. So there's, at 200,000 Ks, there's probably quite a few things that needed to be done. Perhaps they haven't been done. Okay, just done a quick scan. The only one that I've come across is an O2 sensor fault. The heater circuit is faulty. It's a P0050. That's about the only one that I've got, which doesn't really necessarily relate to stalling when it's hot. Let's look further. I've just gone into live data, as you can see, and here's the status of my O2 sensors. You can see bank 1 sensor 1 is in closed loop, whereas the other one, bank 2 sensor 1, that's the one with the fault code, is still stuck in open loop. And of course, if it's got a heater issue, no doubt it will be stuck open, you know, either quite regularly or all the time. I'm going to make a note of that for the customer. We can chase that up further later, but he's mainly concerned about that stalling issue. You can hear it running in the background quite sweetly. I'm just about to take it for a road test, get it up to full temperature, go through some road, you know, testy type things on the road, and then see if we can get it to play up or stall. So just pulled over the side of the road, long road test, get it nice and hot, and it's still idling okay. There's no stalling issues with it right at the moment, but as you can see here, bank 2 sensor 1 is definitely still in open loop there, and you know, obviously the heater is knackered. There might be a few other problems with the O2 sensor. I'll check them shortly, but I can't see anything that stares me in the face right at the moment. Mass airflow seems to be reporting okay. It's a 3.5 litre, so we're looking at about 3.5 grams per second, which is all goody goody goody. 95 in the Celsius range temperature, and that's pretty much it by the looks of things. I can't see anything that slaps me in the face, although this here malfunction indicator lamp, it's saying that it's on. Maybe that's just because there's a fault code in the background, but the check engine light itself is not on the dash. And if we have a look at the resistance of the two sensors there, bank 1 sensor 1, bank 2 sensor 1, you can see that there's 78 ohms and 540 ohms. That's a big difference, isn't it? But stall wise, it's quite sweet. I'm just going to drive around a bit more and see if I can get it to play up. Remember how I said before that the malfunction indicator lamp wasn't on? And really, if it's an oxygen sensor, it should. That's an emissions related fault, so it should be on. And you know, we couldn't see it, of course. Now I'm just in, what am I in? Active tests, and I'm just going to turn the check engine light on, so it should be on now. There we go, it should be on. And what do we notice on the dash? Well, absolutely squat diddly do. So perhaps the globe isn't working or something along those lines. Another quick way you could check is simply to turn the ignition on. I didn't even think about that before, so we'll turn that off. We turn our ignition on, and where is our little check engine light? He is not anywhere to be seen. So yeah, I believe that our check engine light is missing somewhere. I don't know where he's meant to be, but yeah, he's not there, hey. Now just to prove that I'm not going insane, I've got a torch, and you stick it on the angle across your dash to try and see some of those lights. Now I don't know what you can see on the camera, it's really not clear for me, but this side it starts with, oh, I don't know, what's that say? Something, power, driver, check 4-wheel drive, then it's got the check engine light right there. So that fella is definitely not working. So I'm not sure if I can scroll across and you guys can see it or not. Bit hard to see on the camera. Not saying that this is the fault, but it certainly doesn't look healthy. Bank 2, sensor 1, if you have a look at that oxygen sensor there, don't worry about the water off the air conditioner dripping onto it. You can see the wire sitting on the exhaust there. That's not real healthy, is it? So I'll have to get underneath it and have a good look at the wiring, disconnect it and check that resistance once again. I'll need to check the heater circuit. That's the main complaint. So we'll do a test on that shortly. Like a clown, I forgot to record the throttle body. I got a little bit excited when I was looking at it. But this is some of the bolts that I pulled off. Have a look at the silicon that's on there. It's just ridiculous. Just totally redonkulous. It's everywhere, guys. And you can imagine what the throttle body was like. I can probably show you a picture. I did take some photos, but this is from around the throttle body. Someone's just whacked silicon in there. Of course, you don't do that with throttle bodies. That's just stupid. And check out the before photo. And here is my after photo. So you can see it's a lot cleaner than it was before. I had to scrape it, no, not scrape it of course, just use a little toothbrush with some petrol. Just your average everyday toothbrush. Make sure you don't use it with your Colgate afterwards, your toothpaste. But yes, it's come up pretty good. Wiped it down with a rag very carefully afterwards. I'm pretty happy with that. I now need to fit it back on the vehicle with the correct gasket or whatever is necessary, and then I need to do a throttle body relearn. That could be the reason behind the stalling issue. Well, at least I can show you what the throttle body would have looked like. Here's the intake manifold and the throttle body bolts straight on there. Have a look at all that ridiculous silicon that's in place there. That's just wrong, guys. You don't use that sort of stuff. You can see it's even been dragged into the inlet manifold. There's dabs of it around there, but there's stuff hanging off here, here and here. Not good. Okay, so don't use silicon in those areas. I'm a bit of a clown. I called this a 3.5, but it's actually a 3.6 Alloytec. So I had the wrong wiring diagram. So you can see here, I've put up oxygen sensor. We've got one here, one over here, and one over here. So the one that we're looking at is the second one over here, bank 1 sensor 2. I think they list it as number 2. And the heater circuit is a blue with a white. Now I've checked through there. There is no continuity whatsoever, but if I go over to its companion friend over the other side, I've got continuity between these two. So this fella, the heater circuit, is actually an open circuit. So therefore, I need to replace it. Look, it's only logical that we check the fuel filter if we're checking anything fuel related. The throttle body was filthy. So I'm just trying to do some basic maintenance. This is a first time customer. It's actually from Jim's Cleaning, so I want to make sure I do a good job. But as you can see, I've just dropped some in the bottom of this glass jar. Now I've got most of it out, of course, as you can see, but yeah, it's not real great, is it? So I'll chuck on another fuel filter. Air filter was perfect, but that fuel filter leaves a lot to be desired, so that goes in as well. So I've rung up the customer. He's given me approval for all the work that I requested, including the fuel filter and spark plugs. Now, as I was pulling out the spark plugs, they were mega tight. And of course, sometimes you can break them when they're super tight. You're trying to undo them with all your Miracle Max muscles. And in this particular case, I pulled one out and I thought, oh no, damn, I've cracked it. You can see there and there. Then I look closer at it. Let's look closer at it. And you can see that there's some grey in there, which is usually an indication of tracking. And I thought, well, let's do a good visual of the ignition coil. So I pulled out the ignition coil. Obviously I had to do that to do the spark plugs. Looks all good on the outside, so we can throw him back in, no probs. But let's have a look inside. Can you see what I see? I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up or not. But over this side, you can see a line going down there. Can you see that? And if you look over this side, you can see, maybe it's the other side. There it is there. Can you see that? There's a line right there going down there. So look, whoever fitted these spark plugs before, remember when I said initially it just didn't seem quite right. Seemed to have a little bit of a hesitation, bit of a miss there. And I believe that this thing has been tracking as a result of a spark plug that's been fitted before, not by me, before, and of course someone hasn't noted it. They've put it in and as I said, they were super tight. And of course, started tracking up there, but this spark plug was causing hesitation. So I'll speak to the customer. I'll keep this and show the customer, of course, and let him know exactly what I've found. So always do a good visual of the inside of the coils as well as the outside, but have a look down here for things like tracking, as we can see in this particular case. Just doing the spark plugs at the moment, and lifting some wiring loom out the road, and I noticed, hey, what the hell's this fella? Let's have a look at that. Now apparently they have replaced an ECU in it and got rid of the immobilizer, or look, I don't know, but something like this to me would suggest some sort of sensor. Now these wires are just flopping around in the breeze there, they've just been cut, so I'm going to tape them individually. So in other words, I'll flop one down, tape it out of the road, and then put another one down, etc., etc., so that they're all insulated from one another, because it's no use cutting a wire if you've got all exposed, and then it can lead to a short or something along those lines, which is just a bit redonkulous in my opinion. So I don't know who's been in here before. It's just pretty sad, that's all I can say. So I'll tape that up out the road, and of course I'll take a photo for the customer. So the beast is up and running now, and throttle body's on, spark plug's done, fuel filter, etc., etc., etc. So now, as I mentioned, I want to do a throttle body relearn. I'm in my special functions area over here, and we'll see what the instructions give us to do. Stop engine, turn off ignition. Okay, do you really want to reset? Well, yes, I do, thank you very much. And we've done a reset. That was easy, wasn't it? Another reset I'd like to do is the fuel trims. Now, I couldn't do it before, perhaps I wasn't doing it the correct way. Turn the ignition to the on position. Okay, do you really want to reset? Yes, I do, please. So, they have been reset there, that's nice. As you can see, it's saying that both are in closed loop now. Let's just give it some time to warm up and see what it does. See how that's creeping up? That's not unusual for short term, of course. And that one's gone open right now, you see. That's the faulty one. I've got one to replace it, so I'll stick that in shortly and then go for a road test, and it'll be interesting to see what we're getting. Sometimes it can be a little bit confusing trying to figure out which is bank 1 and bank 2. Bank 1 is the one that is leaning forward, or the one up front. You can see the head there. Let's have a look at it that way. You can see that the head is further forward compared to this one over here. That's back a little bit. Therefore, this is bank 1. And this is bank 2. Now, just to confirm that I was chasing after the correct oxygen sensor that's buried down in there, I decided to disconnect the bank 1 sensor over here and have a look at the fault codes. So as you can see, I've got both fault codes listed. The one that I had was bank 2 sensor 1. The one that I've just disconnected was bank 1 sensor 1. So I know that this fella here is the one over that side. So I've got it correct. I just wanted to double confirm that I was pulling off or changing the correct oxygen sensor. We shall clear them out now, erase the codes. And yes, we know that it's all going to disappear. Nothing's there. Okay, so let's start it up and just give it a few revs, and if there's that O2 fault, that will definitely come back after startup. Okay, let's see if we can get some trouble codes out of there. Hopefully there's nothing. Read codes is just what I did. There's nothing there. So that's good news. Of course, I do want to have a look at live data once again and have a look at the, what are we after, fuel trim data. Because that was a bit of a concern before. I have cleared them out, and whoops, as you can see, they're all cleared out for now. Road test will tell me if I've solved the issue or not. I'm about halfway through on a 10-kilometre road test, my usual long road test, and as you can see, those fuel trims are actually really nice. They're bouncing between about 4 and 3 or 2, something along those lines. That's total trim, of course, short term as well as long term. That's the calculated value. So yeah, very, very happy with those. I've got the air conditioner on at the moment, and the idle is really nice. That's the air conditioner off, and it stays the same. So yeah, the relearn has been done on the throttle body as well. Let's get some oxygen sensor data there, see if there's anything available that we can use.
Have a look at the resistance there, guys, compared to what it was before. We had, I don't know, 500 and something. So we've got about 80, 70, 80 on both of the sensors, which is really, really good. They're both in closed loop, which is not what was happening before. So that sensor has fixed that fault. The fuel trims are really nice, -1, -2, you know, positive whatever. It's up to about 10 before you start to be concerned. So yeah, pretty happy with that. So I continue my road test and just tidy up and then let the customer know that it's done. It's idling beautifully. So I believe mainly it was the throttle body that was the problem. But of course, dirty fuel because of a fuel filter didn't help. That oxygen sensor playing up. What else did we do? Spark plugs. A few relearns that made the ECU a little more happy as well. So just head back to the workshop now. Back from the road test on this hot 32-degree day, and I'm happy with the results. That fault code is out of here, the oxygen sensor one. After replacing the oxygen sensor, it idles beautifully after that throttle body clean, as well as the relearn. The fuel trims have been reset and they're nice and happy within their you know, positive, negative settings. Looks like a positive result. Only time will tell, of course, but I'm pretty certain that the customer will be happy. Hey, if you enjoyed this video today and you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, give it a like, feel free to comment down below. Of course, you can catch up with us on Instagram as well as Facebook. Don't forget about that notification bell. You don't want to miss any future videos. So until next time, guys, this is Miracle Max signing off. I will catch you later.